Hello, 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 hello. Let me go ahead and put my lower third up. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tarot by Hilary Live. I am your hostess with the mostest, Hilary of tarotbyhilary.com, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, here to demystify the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. It's been a very busy couple of weeks, and tonight's show, thank you for your patience as I'm starting it 10 minutes later than normal because I was trying to schedule it using my third party streaming app, and then I realized you have to pre-schedule at least 11 minutes beforehand. And I was trying to pre-schedule 10 minutes beforehand and it didn't work. So I had to push it back by 10 minutes. Hope you all understand. But we're here. We're ready to go. Tonight's episode is probably going to be yet another general check-in. And also let's talk a little bit about Mercury Retrograde shenanigans. What have you guys been dealing with over the past week and a half that Mercury has been retrograde? I know that I've definitely been feeling it, especially in my other retail job. And what else? Checking in about, I know I wrote the description. Let me look at the description really quickly before we run the intro video. Yes, here. Yes. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's been a year since me going to Vegas for my tapping certification graduation. So I've been a certified tapping practitioner through the Gala Darling method for a year. And I think it's like a year today, I believe. So yeah, let's talk about that too. Or whatever else you guys want to talk about. But without further ado, let's do our usual video packets to start the show, shall we? I'm really hoping that everyone heard that and saw that because it was not showing up for me. So I will have to double check that later. Or you can go ahead and drop into the chat what you guys are seeing and hearing. I would really appreciate it to make sure that the stream is actually working correctly. Because last week, for some reason, the Book of Face just stopped recording about, I don't know, 44, 45 minutes into the episode. And so people had to tell other viewers that usually view through the Book of Face, like, hey, hop on over to the Tube of You. We're still going on. Like, something happened with that particular stream. I don't know what happened, but there was nothing that I could do to fix it. And I certainly didn't know about it until I got that little like pop-up notification. I have no idea what happened. Hopefully it won't happen again this time around. All right. Let us pull up the branding here. Oh, I have to fix that. I have to update the sidebar agenda, but I will tell you a little bit about the agenda that we usually run for these weekly episodes. They happen Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, unless, of course, your hostess with the mostest is 10 minutes late because I wasn't able to pre-schedule at 6:30. But most of the time, it's Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let me go ahead and put that crawler up so that you all can remember it. And we talk about different metaphysical, esoteric topics of your choosing or of my choosing. And if I know about it, if I know how to teach it, if it's a subject that I'm familiar with, then I'm happy to teach it. And if I don't know how to teach it, I will usually research it or I will bring in an expert. So, and I am really planning on having more experts come on. Speaking of which, I have a whole slew of the people that I graduated from the Gala Darling Method tapping certification with that have their own specific topics and, uh, you know, modes of expertise that they can contribute. And the common flavor between all of us is tapping. So, like me, I'm an expert in tarot. So, I do tarot and tapping. We've had on one person so far, Meg Percy, who's an expert in human design. And she is also a certified EFT tapping practitioner, too. So, we had her on. Was it during the summer? Might have been, I can't remember if it was right before my trip in August or right afterwards, but like that's the kind of interview that I'm talking about, where it's just like human design is something that I didn't know a lot about. I still don't know a lot about it, but I know just enough to like see how it affects me. Same thing with astrology, really. Like I know just enough astrology to be dangerous. Same thing with human design. I know just enough human design to like inform my personality. But I would love to bring on more experts that I graduated with. And also, there are, continuing cohorts of the Gala Darling Method that are, I think the next one is graduating this June. And then the next one after that will be taking their classes in the fall. So, yeah. So let me pull up the agenda. So like I was saying, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, different metaphysical topics. And we usually start the episode with astro-weather from Teresa Reed's wonderful AstroBiz Digest. For Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we move into the main topic of the episode. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Mercury Retrograde. How are you navigating Mercury Retrograde? What's your Mercury Retrograde horror stories? And then also talking a little bit about EFT tapping tonight too, since it's the year anniversary of me graduating. Then we, at some point, will move into the mid-episode reading, where one lucky viewer can win a reading with me, 3-card tarot reading with me live on air. Then we'll finish up whatever topic we're talking about, and then we will move into the weekend forecast, which I usually pull a tarot card or an oracle card to take us into the weekend prepared, not scared. So if that sounds good to everyone, give me a hell yeah in the comments. And I do see that we are working on the Book of Face. So I see Katie is here. I see Liz is here, and I see that Sophia is here too. So welcome. So of course, I was going to explain about all of that while I was making the new sidebar for tonight's episode. And of course, I didn't do it because it's sometimes hard for me to do two things at once. So there are a couple of you in watching that know that we have had some problems with spammers, with people coming in like soliciting readings or saying message me because I'm feeling called to you or whatever. Hopefully that will be kept to a minimum, and we do have Sophia here with her moderator hat on, prepared to deal with that kind of stuff as it comes up. And that is part of the reason why I think that my Book of Face stream from last week ended, because I think they got angry for getting reported and did some sort of retribution. I don't know that for sure, but whatever. Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we will be good on both the Book of Face and the Tube of You. And I will knock on wood when I say that. And so Sophia is saying, hell yeah. And also moderator reporting for duty. Thank you, Sophia. I do appreciate it. Okay. So all I really have to add or change here is the date. So that works. Change date. Make sure to save it with a transparent background. Otherwise, you would not be able to see my face. Really quickly, were you all able to see the intro video? Because it didn't come up for me. I saw the background. So I'll probably take a look in a second just to be super, super sure, but I would rather take your word for it since you're the ones that are viewing. All right. Let's add this overlay. Cool. Cool, cool, cool. We're good. All right. uh Cooking, so not sure. Dina is here, just got here, and Fran just got here. So all right, I'll have to look back and see. Probably it was fine. I'm just gonna double check to make sure everything is working well and copacetic. And then we'll start on the Astrobiz Digest because I'm telling you, I have been feeling this Mercury retrograde for sure. It's been pretty intense. Scrolling. Yep, it worked. It worked. It's looking good. I love it. Very happy about that. All right. I'm just going to close that up and close that up. Close up all my tabby tabs so that I'm not distracted. Oh, and my comment moderator or comment assistant popped this up. Love the Card Slingers podcast. Still thinking of wands as blood flow. Oh, yes. Yeah, I had completely forgotten that a new episode of Card Slingers dropped today. And I don't even remember which one it was. Let me. Is that bad? Does that make me a bad podcaster? Because I don't even remember when we recorded it. Oh no, it was episode 70. Excuse me. Episode 76, When Tarot Comes for You. Yeah, that was an interesting one to record, and also the thing about which the tarot came for me on, that thing has still not been resolved yet. So it was a little bit triggering, to say the least, to listen to that episode and be like, oh great, yep, I still have to deal with that. Like, that situation has not disappeared anytime soon, but we have been working actively on like looking for a place. So yes. So Sophia says, I got a shout out and did nearly faint. Oh, good. So glad. Had a feeling that that you would have that kind of reaction in a good way. So yeah. So if people are not aware of what Card Slingers is, like, do I have a little like bug bite on my elbow? If people are not aware of what Card Slingers is, Card Slingers Coast to Coast is a podcast that I do with two other tarot readers, Jamie Elford and Melissa Sonova. And we've been doing it since, I think, 2019. So, and the episode that dropped today was episode 76, When Tarot Comes for You. And this was a Jamie and myself episode. Yeah. Talk about reading for tarot for yourself and Mary Kay Greer's Tarot for Yourself. Strangely, the two do relate and cross over, and we feel it's time to chat about the connections in our observations. We discuss what happens when the cards call you out and go a lot deeper than you expected for reading material. And we share stories of when tarot came for us when reading for others. And then, of course, the assigned homework, because we do usually like to assign homework. Is to record readings from others and get permission to write that down, see if there's a message for you in them, and learn how to discern how that happens, and also learn how to discern when the message is for both you and the client. So I would actually love to like open up the floor to that, if you all are interested, and if you do read tarot for others, have you had that experience? Like when I was first starting reading tarot, I was just like, oh my God, does this make me a bad reader, that like I'm also getting a message out of this, but also this person is paying me to read their cards for them? And then I asked a couple of other, tarot reading friends, and they were just like, oh no, that happens to me all the time. And you're still providing that message to the person that needs it, but there may be like a certain thing in the cards, or whatever cards come up, or just like a little like voice in the back of your head that says, this is also for you. Like this message is also for you. So, oh, that's sweet. Hits the same every time. The three of y'all are still legends to me. Hashtag sorry, not short. Sorry. That's a little bit embarrassed. I'm blushing a little bit, but thank you for the support. Even more legendary together, the power of three. Thank you, Katie. Yeah, we really love doing it. We haven't been able to record quite as much lately. With my new job, but we will definitely be recording more episodes, because we usually bank them like when we're feeling really frisky. We like we get together and we try and do more than one episode recording. And I think we're good up through, I feel like we're good up through the summer, actually. um so again, episodes drop every second and fourth Friday of the month for Card Slingers Coast to Coast. And then for my own standalone podcast, the Tarot by Hilary podcast, episodes usually drop every Friday. I have just not been doing it, not feeling motivated. But I swear that will resume next week, hopefully. Just didn't feel like doing it last week, and it didn't feel like doing it this week either, but they will come back. My standalone podcast will return. So yes, definitely. Dina saying Three of Cups. Yes, for sure. And actually, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the live stream, but like I used to have two other tarot reading friends local to my area. We would get together and we would like get together for like a meal or a cup of coffee and like talk about this weird thing called being a tarot reader. And we called, like we basically had that Three of Cups vibe. And yeah, I feel like I've told this story before, but tarot got very literal with me. And I spoke to one of them and I was just like, oh, well, we haven't gotten together in a while. Like we should get together. Let me call the other person. And I called the other person and their number was out of service. And I tried emailing them. They never responded to my email and their number was out of service. And I just got this feeling of dread in the pit of my stomach, because I was just like, this is not like her. And I pulled cards on the situation and I got the Two of Cups. And then like the dread was just like overwhelming. And unfortunately, I found out through like just reading through the internet or reading a random person's blog post that that she was involved in a terrible car accident, in which her mother, I believe it was her mother, passed away in that car accident, and she never regained consciousness, and then she ended up passing away. So like I know Dina saying like Three of Cups, like it's complimentary, and I get that, but it's just like that just reminds me of my friend that passed away, and that moment of like receiving the Two of Cups. And like if you're familiar with tarot at all, like, you kind of know that the Two of Cups is like a relatively positive card, especially if you're asking about love or romance. It's like, to me, it's like, it's not necessarily the soulmates card, but it is like, connecting with someone on every level and having this partnership with someone. But in that moment, when I received the Two of Cups and knowing, what we called each other and everything, it was just this gut punch, So anyway, I wrote about it. I wrote about it on my website if you want to take a look at the story. So I think I called it like a tarot tribute. So if you want to read about it, but yeah, sorry to get all Debbie Downer on you there. So Mercury retrograde has been a bit of a whew this time around. And my part-time job, like, I mean, well, this job as a tarot reader is definitely public facing. You do deal with the public, but my other job that is part-time is in retail. So you're really public facing. And there has just been something in the air, and I think it is Mercury retrograde. So it's like, it's almost easier for me in a way when I deal with difficult people, to not take it personally, and to realize that they're acting out of a place of like, oh, well, I can't be upset with the person that I really want to be upset about, so I'm just going to take it out on this retail on this retail worker, you know? So I've been having those moments, I guess you can say, and like keeping in the back of my head, like, this is not personal. This is not about me. It's about, whatever they're miserable about in their own life, and I'm going to make this interaction as pleasant as possible. But there are some people that just don't want pleasantry, it's very strange. So, yes, Dina, the tribute continues in a way. I agree with you. And Fran, dealing with the public can take it out of you. Absolutely. Katie said, all the Karens, point, Mercury retrograde. Correct. Yes. So let us move into, so I've got the sidebar listed now. So you have our agenda right there, the astro-weather. Then we'll do the live stream. So like, let's talk about Mercury retrograde. Let's talk about my tapping certification. That has been a year. It's been a year since I went to Vegas. That's crazy to me. And then we'll do the mid-episode reading, talk a little bit more, and then finish off with the weekend forecast. So I am going to put that crawler up there to remind people to stay tuned to be considered for the live tarot reading, which is the mid-episode reading. All right. Let's see. So I'm going to pull up the astro-weather from Teresa Reed. I'm going to actually take down the overlay very briefly so that I can show you the AstroBiz Digest without, my face being blocked out. So the AstroBiz Digest is $99 for a year-long subscription, astrology in layman's terms, straight to your email inbox. So $99 for a year subscription is like, it's amazing, that price for the amount of information that you get. It is geared towards entrepreneurs and business owners, but I found it to be very, very helpful in planning my own personal life. So if you want to check that out, I always read from the AstroBiz Digest, basically what's going on, like the overall transits that are happening this week. And then I get specific for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because we don't want to give away all of Teresa's work. This is just basically my way of shouting out Teresa Reed and the wonderful work that she's doing and encouraging you to get a copy of the AstroBiz Digest for yourself. So that link is in the chat right now. So I'll go ahead and display it. Just www.thetarotlady.com/AstroBiz Digest. All right. Let's do let's do a side by side while I'm reading the AstroBiz Digest. But we're ready. Are we ready for the AstroBiz Digest? I think Mercury is figuring prominently. Mercury retrograde is figuring prominently in our calculations as well. Let's see. All right, so AstroBiz Digest weekly forecast for April 24th to the 30th of 2023. So the big reminder is Mercury is still retrograde. That is the main transit that we've got to worry about this week. And oh boy, is that true. Mercury is still retrograde. Back up your computer, slow down, plan for delays, choose your words with care. Other than that, this week is fairly quiet in the cosmos. But, you know, with Mercury retrograde, it's still quite a bit to contend with, I think. All right. So, in specific, Friday is, so let's start with Friday. So, Friday today, April 28th. Friday is a mixed bag. The best plan, focus on marketing efforts, valiant leadership, events, and setting a classy example. Deliver a healing presentation when the moon trines Chiron at 1:11 p.m. Inspire the public and lift spirits. It may be a needed balm if the news cycle is a hot mess. Lay low when the moon squares Uranus at 3:26 p.m. People are unpredictable, theatrical, and stubborn then. Ick. Everything improves when the moon is sextile with Venus at 7:42 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. A dynamic aspect for PR, public speaking, gathering of fab folks, and high-powered meetings with fellow superstars. If you're out and about, you could rub some influential elbows too. So today, Friday, April 28th, is a power day for Leo and a weak day for Aquarius. All right, everybody with me so far? I saw that Fran and Sophia were both enthusiastically saying that, yep, let's go. Let's do the AstroBiz Digest. All right. Saturday and Sunday. Let me hydrate first because my voice is cracking. Water is so good, right? Saturday's void moon morning puts a chill vibe into the early part of the day. Lounge around in your pajamas with friends, enjoy long conversations over coffee, or perhaps a bit of pampering at your fave spa. At 2:59 p.m., the moon zips into busy Virgo, creating the perfect conditions for editing, cleaning, and tackling the to-do list. Mars will also sextile Uranus at 4:05 p.m., which is fabulous for initiating business endeavors or working with groups. Expect success if you're hosting an event, teaching, or networking. Sunday is super good for business. The moon trines the sun at 10:59 a.m., a beautiful aspect for public speaking, teaching, and getting your message across. You might receive some accolades too. Another trine between the moon and Mercury at 3:05 p.m. keeps the good vibes going and helps you find all the right words. If you're hosting anything, you'll be the hostess with the mostest, and your crew will be astonished by your professionalism. Saturday is a power day for Leo and a weak day for Aquarius, and Sunday is a power day for Virgo and a weak day for Pisces. All right, so at this time, I like to open up the floor to, things that, I did not mean to do that. Hold on a second. There we go. I'd like to open up the floor to whatever day you were just like, oh, I was really struggling that day, or like people were really weird that day, or I just want to see like what was going on astrologically to kind of maybe explain the behavior of myself, of other people, whatever situations are going on. So I will monitor the chat. I'm personally going to look at what was going on yesterday because I had a incident of my own that I'm gonna chalk it up to Mercury retrograde, but I have a feeling that it was just like there was something more going on. It was like very, very aggressive. So let me see. Thursday. There was, Mercury retrograde Today puts Mars in a square with Chiron at 9:34 a.m. The aspect can bring harm if you're too aggressive or impulsive with your words. If you're careless, you can find the public turns on you or closes their wallets. The Mars Chiron square will be active tomorrow. If you're sensitive to the public's mood, you'll avoid drama. Wannabe dictators and egomaniacs are all in full force when the moon squares the sun at 5:20 p.m. Best to leave those types alone. If you get in their crosshairs, you might regret it. Okay, that explains a lot. All right. Yeah. So Sophia's asking, Thursday was a little funky. That guy from last week that backed off now seems to be sniffing around again. Yep, meaning yesterday. What time? Just told you. Just told you what time. So Mars square Chiron, 9:34 a.m. And that was like kind of all day, I guess, and into today. And then Mars moon squared the sun at 5:20 p.m. So that might explain it, Sophia. Yep, and there we go. I guess I am psychic, right, folks? Thursday was nuts. Totally forgot an appointment. And hey, I'm anticipating your needs. That was more of me being a little bit selfish and wanting to see personally what was up with Thursday, because it's very fresh in my mind what happened. So if your Thursday was nuts as well, then there you go. Anyone else? Any other day that might have been a little bit woohoo? Wednesday was a little strange too. Not as bad as Thursday though. Thursday was whew. If Thursday was a fish, I would have thrown that fish back. Yep. Yep, the rest of the week was calmer, thank God. Anybody else? Yeah. I mean, Wednesday was pretty chill. But the evening had a moon Jupiter square. Tuesday, sun was sextile with Saturn, which created productivity and a persistent glow over the day. And then Monday, the moon was void. So that was kind of a slow day. So overall, interesting. Whole week was a bitch. I blame Mercury retrograde, or as my friends like to call it, Mercury and Gatorade. Yeah. Katie says if he's doing the push-pull behavior, get rid of him. Don't need them doing controlling behavior. #warning. I agree. I'm moving to another country, so I'm frankly just using him as entertainment. Good for you. Good for you, Sophia. All right. Well, that's the astro-weather. That's what's going on. Anyone want to get specific with the Mercury retrograde horror stories? I mean, I can't get too specific about mine, but suffice it to say, someone came in to buy something and it had been pulled aside for them, and it was something that was large enough that we offer warranties on. And the woman was just very aggressive about it and asking what our return policy was before she even purchased it, which is fine. I don't mind, but our return policy is pretty standard. Most places have a regular return policy, and she was like, well, but if I use it and then I want to take it back, like I can't take it. I'm just like, no, we don't accept returns if you used this, like, no, it has to be in new condition. And just like, and I was just like, well, this company has the brand has a very good, track record with customer service. So, if anything were to happen with this, you would call their customer service directly, and it would be between you and the brand. Like, all very basic things. And this is true of any type of retail too. And then we had a flurry of activity, and and she was waffling. And so I ended up like literally she had walked away from the register. So I canceled out the transaction. And then I went to go help other people because she had walked away. And then she actually went and found me where I was helping other people. And there was another sales associate right there, but she went and sought me out, and just like, I was here first. And I was just like, oh, well, you walked away. I thought you were still considering it, and I'm just like, and I'm like, you could have asked our sales associate that was standing right there. She was like, well, I was working with you. So there's just no pleasing this person basically. And I'm just like, oh, well, I can't completely ignore all of the other customers in the store. We only have 2 people right now, like, and this other person is happy to help you. And that's when I was told, oh, I don't want to deal with that one anymore. Just for doing my job correctly, by the way. So that was my quasi-horror Mercury retrograde story. It was just like, it was bad enough that I had to call my boss. And I basically got confirmation, and it's just like, it wasn't you did nothing wrong. Like, I dealt with this person too. Yeah. So okay. It's just like, when some people like walk into a place determined to be misunderstood, there's nothing you can do to help that person. There really isn't. So yeah, Katie's saying, I'm with Dina. The whole week was messy. Sophia says, so she wanted to borrow it. People are nuts. That's called a library, not a bookstore. I don't work in a bookstore, but like, I used to work at a bookstore, and yeah, pretty much that would happen. I worked at a bookstore that they felt like it was a library, and they would sit in the cafe and read books that they hadn't purchased, and then just leave stacks of books in the cafe area for us to put away. Yeah. So Dina says, don't mess with the triple Aries. Yeah, don't. It's not a great idea, especially where my placements are. But at the same time, like you hear in my voice, like, I was completely like, not deadpan, but I was giving a very neutral voice, like, oh, it's this, and like, and the warranty is this, and it's just like, well, what's the warranty? And it's just like, well, it's 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, and if you're paying this price for this thing, and you're asking these questions about it, like, that is what warranties are for. If anything happens to it, you're covered. That's what a warranty is. So I'm like having to explain why buying a warranty, in addition to the product, is a good idea. It's just like, you're literally asking all these questions, and the way this conversation is going leads me to believe that you would want a warranty if this is your concern. But the warranty, we sell the warranty, but that doesn't mean that we're the ones servicing the product. You would get that service directly from that brand. Like, anyway, Fran said, I got 2 texts to remind me about this appointment that you missed. It was on the fridge calendar, and at 9:15 I said, oh, I have this coming up. Yep, was supposed to be there at 9. I'm sorry, Fran. That is quintessential Mercury retrograde shit. Worked at a crystal store during the height of COVID. No, the store is not self-cleansing because of the selenite. No, you can't insert crystals there. For fuck's sake. Oh no. Yeah, I have a little I take a little bit of umbrage in the yoni stone kind of thing. Like no, like that's terrifying to me, because it's just like there are some crystals that like they're the mineral properties of that crystal, like you do not want that internally. You don't want to swallow it, and you certainly don't want to put it up the front or the back. Like, just don't do it. Oh no. Yeah, especially not malachite. She wanted to use a malachite. Mm-hmm. Yeah, no. And if you're if you're wondering what I mean, now I purchased this just because I wanted to put this not in my but in my tarot bag with my selenite. Hold please. So I got a tiny labradorite egg. So tiny labradorite egg. But I'm not going to be putting that up my hoo-ha. That's not what it's for. And then I do have a selenite wand. Where is it? Oh, it's at the bottom of my deck. Hold please. Look at the structure. Look at the structure of selenite. It has this kind of like flaky. I mean, it's not actually going to like flake off, but it could. But look, see the ridges? Oh, hell no. Hell no. I'm just like having horrible visions of like selenite shards up your. No way. And also, as Sophia points out, definitely wasn't insured for that. No. And I mean, that is the problem with like new age stores, crystal stores, is that it is, you know, they're susceptible to more legal action, because, you know, some of these things aren't verified by like the Food and Drug Administration, or, you know. So it's just like you can't say that this tonic or whatever is going to guarantee anything. And yeah, no. Yes, I agree with you that Gwyneth Paltrow has a lot to answer for. Yeah, the whole goop thing is like suspect at best. Most embarrassing day was when a woman asked me for egg-shaped crystals, totally didn't read the room, and showed her a Shiva lingam the size of her forearm. Her eyes bugged out of her head. Yeah, I mean, that's hilarious. Like, I would probably not be a great sales associate if I like worked at a sex shop. Because I would just be giggling the entire time. I'm not cool about any of that stuff. I'd be like just laughing the entire time. It was bad enough when I went into this place called Romantic Depot, and I was shopping specifically for my sister's bachelorette party, and so dumb. I mean, I'm sure those workers were just like, oh, here comes another immature girl buying penis pasta, and you know, penis veil and penis everything, and I was just giggling the entire time. So Fran is asking, what is with people? I cannot answer that question. It is a question of the ages. And that's not to say like sometimes it's very hard to be in retail. Sometimes it's very hard to be in tarot, reading tarot for people, especially when you have the attitude of this job would be great if it wasn't for the fucking customers. To quote Clerks. And also I just have I'm just like hearing quotes from mall rats on repeat now because I work in a mall, and I just keep on hearing that kid is on the escalator again. But yeah, there has been a little bit of like, I love individuals, but I hate people as a whole. And it's hard to not have that mentality when you are in a public facing job. But like most of the time, I'm not reading tarot for a group of people. I'm reading tarot for an individual person. And individual people are awesome. It's just that mob kind of mentality, or when they get into a public space and they feel like they have no sense of accountability, that's when it gets difficult. So, but again, Fran, that's a question for the ages. What is with people? I can't tell you. So that was my Mercury retrograde horror story. It wasn't that bad because at the very least, I had backup from my boss, and I had the other people in the store, and my coworker there as a witness, because they were just like, I have no idea why she acted like that, and she was just like, I must have missed something. And I was just like, you missed nothing. You were there. You saw everything. Like, don't say that you must have missed something. You were there the entire time. So, like, I did nothing wrong. Like, I think that was just a moment where she was bound and determined to be misunderstood. And I don't think you can really help people that are bound and determined to be misunderstood. Yep. I agree with you, Katie. Mercury retrograde is just like that. The crazies come out of the woodwork. Exactly. Does anyone want to ask me questions about tapping? Since it's been a year since I was out in Vegas, and I think it's a year to the day where, we had like our last class and our graduation dinner. I think it is a year to the day, April 28th, 2022, I believe. Yep. Yeah. I've had toxic people come for me during Mercury retrograde. Clearly me too. It's the emotional Sunday drivers. That's a way to look at it, Sophia, and multiple times now. For definite. Yeah. Yeah. They just want their own way. Yeah, absolutely. Just like if I yell, if I yell louder and louder and louder, maybe you'll change your mind by the volume, changing my mind inversely proportional to the amount of or the volume at which I am yelling. Possibly. I don't know. Let me grab my certificate for my tapping certification. I'm pretty sure the date is on it. So, and that's a great question. Yeah, let's switch gears. How has tapping changed your tarot practice? I think that tapping has changed my tarot practice it has really deepened my trust in my intuition with the cards and without the cards. And I think that tapping has really helped for me to give my clients something to do when hard topics are being revealed by the tarot. Because sometimes it's just like, oh, okay, well, there's only so many cards you can pull to clarify. There's only so many how do I blank or whatever. And it's just like, if the cards are saying this and we're doing like a bridge technique where the final outcome card is not what they want, and I take that card, I put it down in the first position. We flip through the deck face up, and they find a card that represents the outcome that they do want, put it in the third position, and then we flip the deck back over and shuffle with the deck facing down. And then the how to get from the final outcome card that you don't want to the final outcome card that you do want, that card that you're shuffling to ask that question, the how do I get from there to there, is placed in the center. Now, sometimes the how card can be a difficult card as well. And so you're having to either pull another card to clarify, or now I have this tool of tapping where I can say, what are you feeling from these cards? What about the imagery is triggering to you or jarring to you or traumatic for you? And let's talk about that. Okay, start tapping on side of the hand. Talk to me about that. Okay. When have you felt like that before? My mother, my father, my sister, my brother, my childhood best friend that moved away when I was 5, and we tap and we tap. And then towards the end, or moving it towards the end of the side of the hand setup statement, we're moving towards how you want to feel. What came up in you to make you choose that imagery for the final outcome card that you do want? Oh, well, I liked the lushness of the scenery, or it reminds me of the house that I grew up in when I was a child, or it reminds me of how wonderful my husband is, or how I really do have it pretty good, actually, or it reminds me of feeling gratitude. It's just like, okay, good. Let's talk about that, moving into that. And even though you're feeling like this, or feeling stuck or whatever, I can start to see to the other side of that expansion and growth. And that feels really good. And moving into the more positive affirmations, and then moving into a full round of tapping, starting at the crown of the head and ending wrist to wrist together. So it's basically these things are coming up. These themes are coming up through the tarot and also through my own intuition, which has gotten pretty darn strong because of both the tarot and because of the tapping. Because being a tapping practitioner, you have intuition is a really big component of it, because it's just like the reason why I signed up for Gala's certification was I don't know what to say. And it turns out I do know what to say. And most people do know what to say to be able to help that person or guide them that person. And it's either, I should say this right now, or I feel like this point is really good. So let's feel and visualize on this as you tap on this point. Or, there are certain words that are coming out of your mouth that the person that you're facilitating the tapping for was just like, oh, I was just thinking that. Oh, I was just realizing that. Or, oh, did I say that in the investigation portion? And sometimes they do, and you're repeating their words back to them, and they're not even realizing that they said that in the investigation portion. And I'm just like, honey, you did. I'm just mirroring it back for you. And sometimes they didn't. So, I don't know if that necessarily helped answer the question, Sophia, but I feel like it's like the short answer is tapping has really allowed me to feel into my intuition and really trust in it so much more than before. And also when I am in session with the tarot clients and these things are coming up from the tarot cards, from the reading, I am then giving them a tool that is tangible that they can do right away in that moment. So I really like that. Katie, by the way, what you're saying, I've almost wanted to take time off social media when Mercury retrograde is happening. There are some people that do that. They take a social media sabbatical during Mercury retrograde. And I actually did that a couple of times. I think I've done it twice. I didn't necessarily do it officially this time around because like if you've been following me on social media, it's just like there's some days that I'm just not posting. Like I look at the time and I realize, oh my God, it's 10 o'clock at night and I didn't post a card of the day. And it's just like, I'll just try again tomorrow, you know? So I wouldn't say that I'm officially taking a social media sabbatical, but there are people that do that. And I think it's very helpful for them and liberating for them to do so. So, so I'm going to go ahead and display Sophia's comment, and I'm going to go grab my certification. Actually, let me pull up my little Be Right Back media, which I love. Where's my Be Right Back? Ah, there it is. I found it. Let me take this down. For some reason, it doesn't want to show in the stream. Hold, please. All right, I have to refresh my screen because now I can't seem to display anything. Hold, please. Hopefully I will, I'll be right back. Okay. This is very weird. It's not letting me show any comments now. Ugh, so annoying. And it's not letting me scroll through. I literally don't understand what's going on. Ugh. All right. Anyway, I'll have to read some of these. So what kind of task, Katie is asking. I usually give myself a task during retrogrades for socials, like a challenge. Like I'll write a tarot challenge or try to post daily. Got to keep those analytics pumping. Yeah, I understand that. And then Katie said about the social media sabbatical, I have done it a little when the toxic was bad, but I don't always. And that is when I notice that toxic strangers appear. I must have a sign on my head. You could always do a tapping for that too. You could. All right. I can't scroll or do anything, which is not good. Like literally, I can't even pull back up my widgets, or I have no idea why this is doing this. try and do one thing and it's just not working. Yeah, it's just cool. That's great. Can't even do anything. All right. Let me try refreshing one more time. Maybe that'll help. Yep. Nope. Just frozen. Just frozen on there. Awesome. Not great. Okay, I'm gonna go grab my certification though, so you can see. Yep, I'm right. So I was right. It has been exactly 1 year since I've been certified. Certificate of completion proudly presented to Hilary Perry Haggerty in recognition of participation and graduation from the Gala Darling Method on April 28th of 2022. So there you go. So I have been certified for exactly 1 year. Let me see if I can open this in a new window. Like, I literally cannot do anything. And I think that also means that I can't even stop the broadcast. Like, it is not responsive to any of my keystrokes or clicks. It's good stuff, right? Yeah, literally. I sounds like a PC restart time is what Katie is saying. I would love to. Let me see if I can open the broadcast studio in this. All right, I think I fixed it. Can't do it in here. All right. I literally had to open it in another tab. So, but it works now. And hopefully it has not been interrupted at all. So that's good. And I was trying to do this. This is what I was trying to do. That's literally all I was trying to do. I don't get it. But did everyone see that? Yes, 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 yes. I really hope so. Good, good. Good, good, good. I'm a little sad that I don't see that on my screen though. Like when I try to do something now, it won't go full screen for me and it won't like show exactly where it's showing you. It's showing in my little like broadcast staging area. So I don't get it. I don't understand. That started happening maybe a week ago, but as long as you guys can see it and hear it, then that's aces for me. So yeah. So Sophia, when you were asking about tapping, changing my tarot practice, did that answer your question about having it be something tangible that I can apply and use with that person right away in that moment? And I think I talked about this a little bit, or my friend talked about this a little bit when right after we did a tarot and tapping session. So I gave this really intense tarot reading, and then we did a tapping session based off of it. And then she was just like, I need people to know about this. I need to give my testimonial like to you right now. Can we do that on video? Because I think it's going to be more powerful that way. And I'm just like, yeah, absolutely. I'll just, I will send you the whole recording. And then I will just take this portion here, which is about like 9-10 minutes in length, and I will put it up as a video testimonial. So okay, good. Yes. Yes, 100% cool. Like, I mean, I would love to be able to pull that up for you right now and show some of it, but it was just like that in the moments was just so powerful a testimonial because it had just happened. Like it was very fresh in her mind, like how helpful it was. Let me see here. Oh, I actually have it up on. I don't think I can necessarily. No, I'm not gonna upload this. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. It's on YouTube, actually. So I'm going to see if I can pull that from YouTube. Oh, just a little bit of it. I'm not going to make you sit here and watch 10 minutes of a testimonial. Share link, copy. Yes, 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 yes. Media, tube of you. Oh, sure. That's loading.
Oh, God. It was seriously, it was so affirming and it was so validating. And I knew that I would get this. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but I knew I was going to get this. And for me too, like it means even more to me that it's you that's doing the reading for me. Um, because you're sort of part of my like council too, you know?
Now I'm gonna blush.
Good. But that's how I felt when I was looking at you, and I just felt like, yeah, she got me. Like all these people have me, and I'm grateful.
And it's hard. It's hard, and I know that was coming up really badly for you because of the releases that you were having. And so you have to watch out for that as a practitioner, as a facilitator, because if you gloss over it, it's not going to make the tapping as effective. And I think that something is lost in that if you don't
Yes.
follow those down, because it's just like you could just be crying forever, and it's just like that's not the point of the tapping. The point of the tapping is to get in there, to bring it out and see you through to the other side of what's
Mm.
possible. So, and it's going to look different every time, honestly. Like normally, like I'm using my intuition as a guidepost of like, what do we do now, what do we do next, and also you letting me know like this feels good, and I'm just like, all right, let's do that then.
Yeah.
But also within the reading, I was just like, oh no, we should tap here, or we should tap here, like
That was
let's do a little bit of.
fantastic. That was seriously so fucking great. I'm like, fuck yeah. Whatever this costs, like that you create for that, it's fucking worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Because
but then
it's
but it's the experience, and it's the different, like, here's the thing, I think people get it, but I don't think they really get it, because
we
there's
do
a lot of
video
people doing.
testimonials.
Huh?
Is there a way for you to put video testimonials on your page?
Yeah, if you want to send that to me, or if you want to do the Zoom, or I can probably pull it from here if you want to. So
Yeah. Um, because for me, having the tapping mixed
oh
in with my reading, because I mean honestly, like anytime I anything with that, it's already so like intimate and so deep, but like having it like coincide with the reading during the reading when those things are coming up in that moment and then tapping on it right then, it made me feel so much more empowered and so much more ready. And I felt so good. Like I was having these moments, but the tapping like helped me to really channel that and bring it in a way where I was like, I can use this to create what I want. This what was pain, I'm able to transmute and create this amazing feeling that I feel. And I really believe that everybody should at least do this like once or twice. Like or more, like whenever there's something like this, because like for me this is such a big, there's so many big things on the horizon for me that I and it's scary, and it's confusing, and I'm nervous and anxious, but like this, I feel completely at peace and grounded into it. And it's like I downloaded like my list of instructions, you
Mhm.
know, that's what it feels like for me. And it's so amazing. And I'm so grateful um that honestly, I'm grateful that you do this because I know that tapping is this good on its own. And I know that your readings are really great on their own. And having it together is like such a freaking level up. I'm really glad this is my gift to myself for like the new year, but I'm so grateful that we could do this because I honestly I can't imagine doing this any other way. I really can't. This is so amazing and I'm so grateful for everything that you just did for me. You have no idea what you've just given me.
I'm gonna have to stop that there because then I'm gonna start crying. But yeah, I think that's really the reason, or like that's the best answer I can give about how tapping has changed my tarot practice and how my tarot has changed my tapping practice. It's just this such a such a great combination of skills to have, and just having that heightened intuition. I mean, like at a certain point, like it was a little bit of a trust fall doing the certification because we were the first class to be doing the Gala Darling method certification. And so with any group who is like the first, there's a little bit of a learning curve, and there's also that, like, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know what's coming, and sometimes there is that um subconscious belief that's underlying, where it's just like change is scary, or surprises are inherently negative or whatever. And so not only were we learning how to become tapping practitioners to be able to facilitate others, we were also like tapping um, on ourselves, on our own issues in real time, um, based on what was coming up for us for that particular lesson, for that particular week, for that particular topic. Like there was one of the classes that we did, one of the practicals, we actually tapped on physical pain. And I'm actually a pretty skeptical person when it comes to some of this stuff, even though I'm a tarot reader, and even though there are definitely things that scare me even about tarot reading. Like, how the hell did I know that? But how did I know that? And like like when I get messages from dead people, I'm just like, that freaks me out. Like, it freaks me out too, even though I'm the one receiving those messages, it still freaks me out. And also, I do have a very practical, skeptical nature at times. So even with tapping, which I saw was helping for emotional issues, there was just some part of me that didn't believe that it could help with physical pain. And so that was one of the practicals that we did, was we swapped, facilitating. So you would facilitate for somebody else, they would facilitate for you. And the task of that week's practical was to tap on physical pain, whatever physical pain was coming up for that person at that time. I had woken up with like a crick in my neck, and then as I was led through the investigation and through the tapping, it started to release, because it wasn't necessarily about the crick in my neck. It was also about like what underlying beliefs do I have about getting older. And I'm just like, oh, well, as you get older, your body betrays you. And then I was just like, oh, did that just come out of my mouth? So it's just like there was so much of the experience that allowed me to trust my instincts and to trust my intuition a little bit more than I had before. And there were some moments where, like, Gala actually asked me during class, and she was like, "Hey, you're a tarot reader. explain explain how to differentiate between the voice of intuition and the voice of fear. And I'm just like, fuck. But I do teach that. I do teach that all the time. And so I kind of like had to do like a little like masterclass, because a lot of people in my cohort were having problems with that whole intuition aspect of flow in doing the tapping in that way. So hopefully that answers Sophia's question, and also starts to answer Fran's question, which just came up, which is how many different tapping methods are there? There are different schools of thought. There's definitely there's clinical tapping, which is very rigorous and strict, because they're literally doing that for research studies and science. So that is kind of using the scientific method to make sure that they're doing this research to show, this is not a placebo effect, like tapping actually works. This is how it works. And, one of the gold standards of researching is to make sure that it is easily repeatable. And you want to make sure the actions that you're doing are very measured and equal, and repeatable, so that you can see if the results are repeatable. So there's clinical tapping. So you may see people doing the clinical tapping that start on the eyebrows and work their way down to, I think the starting point is the eyebrows. All the rest of the points are the same, except there's no wrist to wrist together, and then the ending point is on the head. So I think that's like more clinical tapping. So you're going to see, and usually one-handed. So you're going to see the Ortners, I believe, the tapping solution. The Ortners, I think, do it that way. I believe Brad Yates, Tap with Brad, also does it that way. And then there's Gala's method, which is more about inflow, and she kind of calls it like power tapping. She uses both hands when she can, because she feels like it equalizes the right and the left centers of the brain and the body. And for her method, it's starting at the top of the head and ending with wrist to wrist together. And it's a little bit more of a flow. There's a flow to it, rather than things that are, more rigid. So I don't know if there's necessarily specific names for the different tapping methods. And I am sure that there are other people out there and teachers out there that do offer certification in their method. But I was attracted to Gala for her method, which is more in flow and, basically acknowledging that any movement of the sud scale, any kind of relief is a good thing. There are some tapping practitioners out there that are offering certification that are just like, if you don't get it from 10 to 0 in one round, it's just like, it's not successful. And I'm just like, ooh, that's strict. Like, I'm glad that they're not my, they're not my tapping teacher. Let's see. Like right here, I have some of my tapping resources together. And then also I have like a notebook that I'm writing down like the different keywords that I use sometimes, different statements that I find to be really effective as well. Like, for example, at the top of the workbook that we received for the Gala Darling method is like the golden phrase that you hear a lot in tapping, which is, I deeply and completely love, accept, and forgive myself. See, it's right up at the top here. But to really answer your question as to how her method is different, besides everything that I just said, which is like being in flow. Yeah. Gala Darling method makes some significant tweaks in the process, or to the tapping process, allowing people to truly connect with their deep issues, heal them, and transform them quickly. I don't know that if that completely answers your question, Fran, but let me know. Aha, here. So what makes the Gala Darling method unique? It marries cognitive and somatic stimulation with intuition, humor, and whip smart courage to get to the heart of the issue. Tapping is a brilliant and powerful technique, but one of the reasons why the Gala Darling method is so effective is because it's playful. This doesn't just increase the efficacy of what's being done in the moment, but it increases the odds that someone will want to come back to it and do it again. In a world of shockingly short attention spans, if your method isn't fun or joyful, it won't stick. The healing revolution must include humor and color, or it will never take flight. And this quote here, scientists have discovered that it takes approximately 400 repetitions to create a new synapse in the brain, unless it's done in play, in which case it only takes 10 to 20. So yeah, it has this playfulness, it's got humor, it's got intuition, it's got flow. And she also has hot pink hair and she's gorgeous. And I've been following her work for a really, really long time. And also that was part of the reason why I was originally attracted to tapping in the first place. I didn't know about tapping until she would do her High Vibe Honey videos on YouTube, in which she would pull like 3 cards of the tarot, and then she would do a tapping on the themes that came up in that particular reading. It could have been a theme that came up specifically from one card, or it could have been like the whole of the message of the reading. But I just read something in here that's also a really big key to tapping, or being a really effective tapping practitioner, is to find that underlying negative belief. Because when you find that underlying negative belief, that is the thing that if you work on that instead of like the symptoms around it, like if you work on the symptoms around it, like if you tap on those things, you will get some relief. I'm not saying that you won't, but if you get to the underlying root, you can get in there and get it out for good. And that's what helps to release the most. So here, like during investigating, like listen as they talk, listen like a detective. That's the reason why I do as deep an investigation as I can before I work with someone to actually start doing the tapping. Often it's identifying and alleviating a detrimental personal philosophy that will help the most. A detrimental personal philosophy might be that they can't trust anyone, that they will always fail, that the world is going to hell in a handbasket, etc. With these beliefs predominant in your head, even if the client is tapping on important everyday issues, there will be underlying misery that sabotages every good piece of work they do. So if you can identify these limiting personal philosophies and then tap on them, you will lift the fog around the client. They will feel clarity, and then you can really start working on the individual issues. But it's just like, but you got to get to that root first. And it's interesting because I was just watching Charmed, the original Charmed, for like the 50th million times. And the episode that I happened to be watching was one that I didn't even remember that I had seen. Maybe I hadn't. I've like watched the series all the way through like a number of times. But like sometimes there's individual episodes that I just don't remember ever seeing. And one of them was the demon of fear, Barbas, comes back. And he preys on Piper, And one of the things that she ends up admitting is not necessarily a fear of spiders, which also comes up in that episode, but more of an underlying fear of every time I'm happy, something happens that's a tragedy. So it's just like, so she's almost scared of being happy because she knows that there is usually tragedy that follows her happiness. I'm just like, whew, okay, I could do a tapping for Piper on that. You know, and that's also another thing. Our pre-homework before we even started the Gala Darling method was to find a fictional character and create a tapping script for them for whatever their issue is. So playfulness, flow, intuition. But yeah, there are many different tapping methods out there, Fran. And I think it's just finding a person that really speaks to you and speaks to your philosophy. And also sometimes you might be circling around it, and you might be hearing the same thing over and over again, but it might be that fourth or fifth time from that certain person that all the things like click into place. And you're just like, okay, that's my philosophy. That's my tapping method. That's my person. I'm going to follow what they do, because that was another big part of getting this certification. It's just like, she was not interested in creating like little carbon copy clones of her. She wanted us to take the method, but then put our own spin on it. Like, yes, it is still the Gala Darling method, and I'm certified in it, but I'm also making it my own. That was very important to me because there are a lot of certifications. Like, I'm very against tarot certification, because how do you do that? You know, like I'm not going to read tarot in a prescribed way from a teacher. You know, I'm going to read tarot in my own way. So, so Katie asks, do you think that if the situation that brought you to tapping on something has changed, should you still tap on the original situation? I think you're never going to stop tapping. You know, like there's always going to be an issue to tap on. So I would say, since the situation has changed, how has it changed? And are you feeling blocked in that situation? And how are you feeling blocked in that situation? You can still tap on the original situation, but you might need to change up the words to reflect the new reality that has occurred. Does that make sense? Like, let me show you something. So I think I've shown you this before, but I'll show it again. So this is the tapping solution by the Ortners, Nick Ortner. And I think his brother and sister are also tapping practitioners too. So I like to keep my ideas open. So it's just like, yes, I follow Gala. Yes, I follow Brad Yates. Yes, I follow the Ortners. Sometimes I'll look up different things like Emo Free. And then also I follow my colleagues that I graduated with, or that are graduates of the second cohort or the third cohort. Like Danny, like Danny Lent, he's awesome. He's fantastic. He just did a tapping chorus. I think he's offering it again, called like Tapping Into Not Giving a Fuck. Fantastic. You know, like there's so many interesting people out there. Of course, like Tap Into Magic as well as another person, Meg Percy, who I've had on the show before with Human Design. She's also, you know, one of the graduates. Everyone's doing their own thing and putting their own spin on it. It's been really wonderful to see. And I would really encourage you to, like, you know, I know that you vibe with me. Like, certainly you can book a tapping session with me. It's on my website, tarotbyhilary.com. Also, right up here, this QR code, that'll take you right to my website as well. But, you know, if you vibe with one of my colleagues and you're interested in that, like, try booking a session with them and seeing the difference. You know, I just want people to get what they need, you know, like, even if it's not through me. Like, I'm not like, you can't grasp onto people like that, you know. But oh, I just flipped to it. Where did it go? But what I wanted to share with you was the tapping tree. which I think I've shared before here. Yeah, here. What does your tree look like? So you can draw your own tree, or you can print out a blank copy of it at thetappingsolution.com/tree. And so, think about your situation that you're in now, Katie, how it's changed, how it's grown, and what are you still looking to move the needle on, for example. So the leaves would be side effects. Like the example that they use here is like a financial situation. Okay. So like the leaves, side effects represent your current financial situation. Be honest about where you are. If you're in debt, that's an effect. So write it in. If your salary is not enough to pay the bills, write that in. If you don't have a job or you make a good living but are always seeming to struggle with bills, write that in. Write everything. That's the effects, right? The branches are the emotions that are connecting the effects to the situation. So how do you feel? The branches are the emotions. How do you feel about your financial situation? Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you frustrated? Are you annoyed? Are you embarrassed, ashamed? How does money make you feel? How does sharing your message or passion with the world make you feel? The trunk would be the events. So what events have happened in your life around like money, finances, career that were negative? What was your first job? Do you remember it? Do you know what your parents' financial situations were? Were there any negative childhood experiences about money? And then the roots, that's where you really want to go. The roots are the limiting beliefs. This is where the real action is, or so Nick Ortner says. I agree. What do you believe about money? What are your underlying money beliefs? What do you believe about following your passion? What do you believe about your career? Say out loud, money is blank, and fill in the blank again and again and again. And then he also lists most common limiting beliefs we hold about money. Which ones are true for you? Money is hard to come by. There isn't enough for everyone. If I make a lot of money, I'm taking away from somebody else. You have to work hard for your money. Takes an immense amount of knowledge and skill to make a lot of money. I don't deserve to make more money. Money doesn't come easily. You can't have both time and money. Rich people are fill in the blank. Money is the root of all evil. Having money isn't spiritual. Or I can't afford it. Like that's something that, so like that's an example. Like get yourself a blank copy of the tapping tree at thetappingsolution.com/tree. And look at your new situation and start to fill that in. And like for example, like that thing about like I can't afford it, like we have banned that phrase from our house and we rephrase. And the thing we rephrase it to, instead of saying we can't afford something, we say we are choosing to spend our money on blank. So yeah, I'm happy to help, Katie. And by the way, Katie has provided that link in the chat. I'm displaying it here, thetappingsolution.com/tree. Any other questions about tapping before we move into the mid-episode reading? And unfortunately, I can't see how many people are here right now. That is the bad part of having to open up the studio in another window. Can't see how many people are viewing. But let us do, yes, I agree. I agree with Fran. Katie is awesome. Let that pop up. All right. So thank you. Thank you, Katie. 3 people on the Book of Face. Awesome. Cool. Okay. So we're going to do the mid-episode reading now. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the comment snake. And then I'm going to turn on the lottery. Comment snake, comment snake. Comment snake first. Where is this? So it is time. It is time. If you were one of the people that came in here and was just like, what the hell? I want a reading. You can go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull that widget up now. From this moment on, when I put up the lottery jar, you can go ahead and comment in the chat, whatever the hell you want, but your comment will enter you into the lottery jar so that you will get a chance to win a 3-card reading with me right here on the broadcast. So here comes the lottery jar. And go ahead and comment if you would like to be in the running for the mid-episode reading. And I'm not going to go ahead and comment because now I know. Now I know that my name would be in there, and I'm not reading for myself on the broadcast. I could, but I know you all enjoy when the cards come for me. And I mean, that was the whole theme of the Card Slinger Coast to Coast episode today. So. All right, there we go. So Fran commented, comment snake, and she is now in the running to win the mid-episode reading. I'm going to give it another 2 minutes, and then I will select a winner from the comment jar. I don't know where I put my phone. I'm going to go put my certificate back while we are waiting for people to comment. Very well then. Freaking bye. Just Fran right now? We can also do tapping. You don't have to just get a tarot reading. And by the way, if you're interested in any of Gala Darling's philosophies and such, her newest book was Magnetic Mindset. And she talks a little bit about all of these different concepts. Like, how do I know when my manifestation is working? You are a goddess, feeling good is your job. Contrast or the gifts of pain. Creation, release and allow, live your fantasy, manifesting the love of your life, loving in the vortex, change your mind, change your life, how to be a high vibe honey, questions and answers, and it all comes together. So this I took with me on vacation last year, and I still haven't finished with it yet, but I'm almost done. I'm on page 152. So very excited about it. All right, I'm going to give it another minute. Contest closes in un minuto. So And while I'm waiting, I'm just going to double check that everything is still working. It's actually funny because what was it, a couple of days ago, my coworker said to me, oh, well, I started following you on Instagram, and then I saw your card of the day, and I was so freaked out by it that I was just like, oh, maybe I shouldn't be following her. And I was just like, it's because it's the Diablo Tarot deck, right? And she was just like, yeah. And then like what you were saying, it's just like, it wasn't as bad, like it wasn't as creepy as I thought, like your message didn't match like the creepiness of the cards. And I'm just like, yeah, it's a deck that's based on a video game series. And it's just like, there, like, don't, like, you don't have to feel bad about it. It's just like, this deck is not going to work for everybody. That's just the long and short of it, So I just remembering what I can't remember who said it. I think it was Jenny who was saying, I don't know if I'm gonna be really following your card of the day this month because of the Diablo Tarot. I'm like, fair. All right. Well, this is kind of ridiculous to get a winner because there's only one person that entered. So, Fran, you are the winner. Congratulations of the mid-episode reading. So go ahead and put your question into the chat, and I will pull 3 cards for you. Most likely from the Reflective Tarot, if not the Radiant Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Yeah, no, we've got the Reflective Tarot right here. Or if you prefer, I can also pull an oracle card for you. All right. So the question is, I keep getting told to do what I am supposed. I keep getting told to do what I am supposed to do by my guides. Am I on the right track? All right. I will pull. I'm going to pull 3 cards from the Reflective Tarot, and then I'm also going to pull a oracle card. Actually, affirmation card. Ooh, okay, please don't fall over. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and take down both here. Cool. All right. Keep getting told what I'm supposed to do by my guides. Am I on the right track? That was a flyer. Actually, that was 2 flyers. So I'm going to pull those 2 flyers, and then I'm going to pull the last card here. Yes. Absolutely. Even though, like, I think I think what's going on here, I'll pull the affirmation card afterwards, because I think the cards are really like wanting to, I think the cards are really wanting to address more of your mental process and like you trying to just get out of your own way. Because right now you're at this point where it's like, it's hard to trust, you know, and it's just like, like this feeling of like you've been burned before or you've been anxious about it or whatever. It's really hard to let go. And even when you've been letting go, it's almost like you're going through the motions of letting go and being more chill about it, but at the same time there's just some part of you that can't, like there is that I need to cling to it, I need to control it, otherwise things will go unpredictably, and unpredictable is scary to me. So the reason why I'm saying that is because the two flyer cards that came up, one is the Nine of Swords coming up reversed. So to me, it's like it's a really great sign that this is coming up reversed and not upright. Upright, it feels as if like if it had come up upright, it was just like you are in your own way and you're blocking your manifestations, like because of your anxiousness. With this coming up reversed, it feels like, you know, there is that worry, there is that doubt, but it's becoming easier and easier each day because you're doing little steps. You're like, you're like, sometimes guides can be very like extreme. And you know, whatever messages that you've been getting from your guides, you've been trying to make small action steps towards those actions, towards those things that they want you to do. But those little steps are going to make a huge difference overall. And I think that's more about the effort that you're putting in. It's small and it's concerted actions that are allowing you to, you know, move through your right track more and more and have more confidence. Like the small steps, yes, they're small, but they're in the right direction. Do you know what I mean? Like baby steps. Taking those baby steps is very, very important right now. Um, you also have the King of Swords. So it's almost as if a past situation has you convinced that you know, you're not on the right track, or you can't speak with authority, or you can't do, you know, whatever. Like it feels like you were gaslit into feeling like you're not a powerful person or that you're not a deep thinker. Like this is very much about communication and mental ability with the King of Swords coming up. And it's just like that was an asshole thing to do, and it wasn't you and it wasn't about you, but unfortunately you were the the casualty of that person's insecurity. So now unfortunately those insecurities that were put on you by another person are now your insecurities, which sucks, and now you're going to have to like learn your way out of them. So baby steps forward, right? I do see that you were confirming. Oh, totally cool. Baby steps forward and start to gain your confidence in your mental ability, because your mental ability and your communication skills are really, really strong. And it's only because of this person that was gaslighting you in the past, that you now have these doubts or insecurities about your level of intelligence or the way you communicate with people. Make sense? And finally, what makes me think like, yeah, you're definitely on the right track. And, you know, your guides are like, this is what your guides have been waiting for. You know, they're just like, oh my God, finally she's listening to us. This is great, you know? And so now, of course, the chatter is picking up because you're listening to them now. And so now it's really easy for you to hear them. And it's easy for you to hear them. It's sometimes more difficult for you to be doing the action that they want you to do. But it can be a negotiation. So it's just like, okay, I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to do that. Is that okay? And usually it'll be a yeah, that's cool, you know, but it can be a compromise. you know, and there are some things that you will be able to compromise on with your guides, and there are some things you won't be able to, and you'll feel the difference. And the reason why I'm saying this is because you're getting the Empress card. And for me, you know, honestly, you getting this card as the last card and the one that was pulled on purpose instead of flying out the deck, it just feels very, very powerful, very in your elements. Also, very guided by Venus as well. You've got the Venus symbol right here. That is the planetary association with the Empress card. It just feels like, yes, there is a mental element to it with you know, your intellect, and with, you know, two swords cards coming up, which is the element of air. That's what the swords rules. But having the Empress card come up, it's just like, get into your body, do things that bring you pleasure, do things that bring you joy, do things that bring you growth and again, joy. Look at that gold background too. I love it. I love the lushness of the Empress. It just feels like being in your body and connecting that mind to your body and to your heart is really, really important right now. And just having this combination of like swords, Empress, it's just like, I don't know if you're working on something that's in written form, something like a book, but like sometimes people that get the Empress card, you know, it's just like, do you have a book baby in you? Like, what's going on here? Because it's just like, I see a book. I see a book in you. So that might also be what the guidance is about right now. It's just like telling your stories, being creative in that way is going to really solidify and ground you, and make you have confidence in yourself again. And fuck whoever it was that made you feel less than. Fuck them right in the ear. I don't even think they're in your life anymore. And even if they are, they're a very small part of your life that is insignificant at this point. So it's time to clear out the mental space. They don't, like, your real estate, the real estate in your head, that's prime real estate. They don't belong there anymore. So I'm going to pull an affirmation card for you to round up the reading. And for those of you who are asking for readings in the chat, this is the mid-episode reading. And if you want to enter into the contest, you'll have to do so next time, Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or you can feel free to book a reading with me at tarotbyhilary.com. Wow. So like I might be a little bit harsh on this person for, you know, gaslighting you, but here's the thing. They were acting out of fear. And the reason why I'm saying this is your affirmation card is, instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. So I'm going to say that again to you, Fran. Instead of taking on the fear of others, I reflect love. So that is the mid-episode reading. Thank you to everyone that participated, both in the past, in the future, and also thank you to Fran for allowing me to read for you in a public space. I know that can be difficult sometimes. So Fran is saying, what a relief. I'm going to take that as a good sign, sign that the reading is helpful. Yes, exactly. I reflect love. I reflect love. All right. Well, even though that was the mid-episode reading, we've been going at this for about 2 hours now. If there's no more questions about my tapping certification or about Mercury retrograde nonsense, I think we're going to wrap up this episode. Let's see here. Move this out of the way. So, for those of you who were asking me about a reading, you can feel free to go to my website, tarotbyhilary.com. I have many different reading options there. I have email readings, phone, Zoom, Skype, if our time zones match up. And if they do not, I do have email reading options available too. All right. Well, that is it for this evening. Again, we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Fran is saying, "Oh, my guides love to say, do what you're supposed to do. Then, when asked, what is that? They laugh and say, you need to figure that out." I would say sit with that in silence. Sit with that in silence. Do a meditation about it. You can even do a tapping on it, Fran, for clarity. Sometimes I like to tap on one of the tapping points. I like the collarbone, or I'll even do side of the hand, and ask for clarity and like talk out loud. Like, I'm feeling really stuck on this chapter that I'm writing of my book. Actually, I did this last year when I was writing How to Read Tarot. I'm really stuck on writing the history of tarot. I think it's boring. Just like, what does it matter? And it's just like, but it's a chapter that my publisher wants me to write. So how can I make this fun? How can I make this joyful? How can I clarify my guides? Do what you're supposed to do. What is that? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I thought you guys were supposed to be telling me. But when I really think about it, and I love, honor, and accept myself for all of these feelings that I'm having, I know that I should be eating a good breakfast and taking walks and not beating myself up about the past, because I can't change the past. And I can't change the future. I can only work on the present, and I can only be in the present moment. And maybe that's what my guides are saying. I know what I'm supposed to be doing. It's like, I know how I feel when I know that I'm goofing off, and I know how I feel when I'm getting something done. So more of that and less of that, please and thank you. So that's a way you can work tapping into this too. And apparently you and Katie need to get together, because your guides have been talking to my guides. All right. So again, we do this every Friday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all so much for watching and participating. And once again, I am Hilary, professional tarot reader and EFT tapping practitioner, demystifying the mystical and putting you in touch with the most beautiful of gifts, your own intuition. Because yes, my friends, do not argue with me. You have intuition. If you'd like to book a reading, tarotbyhilary.com, Hilary with one L. And I will see you again next week. Bye.